Welcome on in to Hot Shot Sports. On today's show, we discuss Zion Williamson's injury. Can the Bucks really pull it off? And the MLB season is right around the corner. Stay tuned. WMCM's Hot Shot Sports is next. Welcome back to Hot Shot Sports. I'm Ryan Giannoni.
I'm Brady Fisher.
And I'm Sam Brink.
And on today's show, we're going to first off get going here with rolling last Wednesday. Zion Williamson playing a game against UNC, him and Duke, and he busted through his shoe completely, and it split in two on the court, and now he ends up with a mild knee sprain because of the shoe blowing up essentially. And it's just not a good look for Nike for one, but what do you guys kind of think about that?
I think it's interesting thinking about the NBA season 2 years ago when Nike took over and the jerseys started ripping.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's correlated at all. The ripping between the shoe and the jerseys, like maybe something wrong with production.
And I mean, a big thing is, look at basketball, or college basketball or college sports in general. You have them not being paid. Oh, they have tuition. So what? The Duke this year is making how much money off of their players?
Oh, yeah.
And then you have someone like Zion Williamson not getting a penny for his performances to be hurt by some shoe that broke to maybe even ruin his career, because who knows what the Knicks are thinking now. Because, the knee's probably not that serious of an injury.
Well, it certainly poses a question, because now NBA players alike, like Isaiah Thomas, for instance, tweeted out recently saying, I think he should sit. And it poses the question, should he sit out? Because he's going to go to the league following this season anyways. He's probably going to go one and done because he's a generational talent. And I think Zion Williamson, though, his competitive juices, and since he's being almost paid to play there because he's getting a free ride from the school, I think he should definitely play for sure. And it's something that I think it's a fundamental thing that the NBA should revert back to, because in 2005 they ended it where you can't be drafted right out of high school, and I think it shouldn't be that way, because it does pose a risk for the players, like Zion Williamson. I mean, it could be life-changing for him if he tears an ACL. In reality, he could have been in the league. I mean,
because this year it poses a pointless year for Zion, because the Knicks knew his ability.
Yeah.
So are any of the top teams in the draft, they're like, oh, this is Zion Williamson. I don't care what he does in this 1 year of college.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, too. Yeah. You could sit out the rest of the games and still be the #1 overall pick. I mean, he's such a generational talent, like you said.
Yeah.
If he was in the NBA right now, second heaviest player in the NBA.
Yeah.
Well, there's such an upside, too, where I think – I was watching one of the ESPN shows today, and they're saying, do you take Zion or do you take R.J. Barrett at #1, regardless of what happens? But what I would say is I would lean towards R.J. Barrett, because I think you look down the line, down the road, I think in 10 years, you'll look back and maybe see R.J. Barrett's more well-rounded, but the higher ceiling has to be for Zion Williamson, so it makes it tough, because, what do? Do you... because obviously the biggest concern for Zion is the shooting, but when you have somebody who is so athletic and can just dunk and just, drive the way he does, when you're 6'8", 285 in the lane, it's tough to handle for anyone, but he's almost playing like a center role right now for Duke.
Somewhat,
So going to the NBA where that might not translate as well when you have guys that can use their length, like Anthony Davis. And like DeMarcus Cousins. Those guys know how to use their length. They know how to defend in the post, and he'll be undersized not only in the height category but also in the weight category.
Go back a couple years and he'd be a lot more powerful.
I think
for sure.
A little bit on the money thing too. If you look at Luka Doncic, he tweeted to maybe just go straight to the EuroLeague instead of college, like he did, because you get paid.
Yeah,
I mean, you're
true.
actually making money because you're not going to make money just going to college.
Yeah.
You know?
That we know, of course.
Yeah.
But anyways, speaking along the lines of college basketball, still March Madness right around the corner. We're a few days out from March, so we still got some time. But I'm excited because it is the best time of year. You got your Shamrock Shakes, you got spring training, and you got March Madness. There's games going everywhere. And for me, I just love every aspect of it. And if I had to pick this year though to win it, I'm gonna say I would take Gonzaga at 27-2, and I think they're currently number 2 in the country. So that would be that's who would be my pick. What about you guys? What are you guys thinking?
I'd honestly pick Duke just because you look at what they have on their team.
Yeah.
They're like comparable to the Warriors, but not skill-wise. You mean like the stacked lineup-wise?
Yeah.
Because they have all those players coming out of high school as like the top recruits, and they all went to Duke. Like,
they certainly don't shoot like the Warriors, though.
No, that's true. But it's like, what other team has that starting 5? And to me, I don't know too much about all the teams in the March Madness, which is kind of hard to do. But
you have to do a lot of research.
Yeah.
I'd say Duke is probably the favorite, but I have a couple sleeper picks too.
Let's hear them.
I'm going to start with Houston.
Okay.
And they have two studs on their team. They have Corey Davis Jr., who's averaging 16 points per game, and they have Armani Brooks, and this guy has 14 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, and he's shooting 40% 3.
Okay.
That's good for a big man.
That's lights out from 3.
Big. And then I have another one, and it's got to be Marquette. They have Marcus Howard, multiple 40-point games. He's averaging 25 points per game and 42% three-point shooting.
Wow.
Plus, they have both the Hauser brothers, Joey and Sam, Stevens Point representation.
Yeah, saw those guys play in high
They
school.
definitely could. I was thinking about it when I was looking through myself on who I was going to pick. I'm like, going back and forth. I'm like, I'm just happy that the Badgers are going to probably be back in it. It may be a 4 or 5 seed.
Yeah,
but Marquette certainly has a higher upside, I believe.
I think so too.
Just because of Howard alone. I mean, his talent he's just so good. And like you're saying, that's definitely a good sleeper pick.
So.
But you had alluded to Duke possibly, winning it all.
Yeah.
I wrote down in my notes, I could see it honestly a Duke one and done. I could see them losing to the Sixers. I really could, because we've seen, let's just say, for instance, what we saw against North Carolina last Wednesday.
Yeah.
When Zion went down, it didn't look like they recovered ever in that game.
No,
it never looked like they were comfortable or settled down. So I could see if something slight injured like that, like maybe, let's just say Zion gets in foul trouble, or some other guy goes down and injured, and they are having a poor shooting night like they've been doing, because they have not been shooting the rock well, and Jack White also has been struggling, and he's been, he's supposedly one of their, top guys from 3 as well. So I don't know. I think you could definitely see it happening, but if there was one team, I would say that would. I mean, if they get past the first game, I think they'll go at least to the Elite 8.
Yeah.
But I could see Duke for sure. If there was one team I could decide, it would be them.
I think if Duke loses the first game, that's biggest upset in maybe sports history.
Yeah.
It could be, and that's a hot take, but because many people maybe credit Duke as one of the best NCAA teams ever
probably,
assembled.
if not the
best ever
them
assembled.
and Fab Five.
I mean, wouldn't that be some story?
That would be insane.
Yeah, and I mean, like, the Duke,
I don't know.
going in against the 16th seed, I think their confidence levels would be a lot higher than going against North Carolina. So I think going against what you said with an upset being likely out of all the top 4 or the 1 seeds, I just think it's a little bit like a lot more unlikely. I would say.
Maybe Virginia gets the 1 seed again and goes back-to-back losses against the 16 seed. Who knows?
Yeah.
And we'll keep it here now. We'll transition a little bit. We'll keep it with basketball, though. Bucks having a phenomenal season. 46-14 on the year, and this is the best record in all of the NBA. Maybe the NBA fans did not see that coming, but certainly Milwaukee fans and Bucks fans in Wisconsin certainly saw it coming for quite some time with the growth and development of Giannis and that whole team.
Sure. The addition of Coach Bud, that helped a ton.
Yeah.
Middleton, Bledsoe playing out of their minds.
Yeah.
It's amazing what happens when you have a coach like Coach Budenholzer. I mean, he has added such a different dynamic than Kidd did to this team, and I think it actually matters when you have like I think he's a really, really good coach.
Oh, yeah.
And I think just the pieces that they keep to continue to develop. Because, like, for instance, DJ Wilson playing pretty good this year, stepping up. And then you have pieces where you pick up along the line like Nikola Mirotic.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a big addition.
I watched him when he was on the Bulls, and I was a big fan of Nikola. We used to call him Three Cola when he played for Chicago. But he is just great defender, big guy. He's going to rebound. He's going to shoot the three for a high percentage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it poses the question, do you think the Bucks can win it all?
I think that, well, like, right now, that seems like a question that a lot of people ask and they get the same answers. It's like the Warriors. How hard do you think the Warriors are trying to get their current record with what it is, and how hard do you think the Bucks are trying to get that record? Because you got to think, like the Warriors with what they have, they don't have to try nearly as well. I wouldn't say nearly, but they don't. You have to assume they don't have to try that hard to win games.
Yeah.
But then you have the Bucks, which I mean, they're a very young team. They're probably scrapping it out every game, and like they're really trying like as hard as they can. You got to think to get those wins.
I think it comes down to the first seed matchup when they play an 8 seed.
Yeah.
And I think their most favorable 8 seed that they could go against is Detroit, because over 4 games, their net rating against them is 15.3. So that's per 100 possessions. That's the point differential. But the least favorable, I'd say, is probably the Charlotte Hornets, because over 3 games it's only 2.3.
Yeah.
And they have Kemba Walker.
Yeah.
So he can always, clutch up. He's a great shooter, especially this year. He's put up, again, multiple 40-point games.
Yeah.
Hard to beat.
But
it would be great for Wisconsin, though. I mean, let's think about that, because, I mean, we've been, the whole saying of Bucks and 6 has been a thing now for quite some time, but I would just like to see them win just one playoff series, and I'd be happy. I'm a Bulls fan, I will say that, but I do like to watch the Bucks. I mean, they're a great, fun team, but it would just be great for Wisconsin if it could all come together, and if they even won it all. But speaking also on what was great for Wisconsin, last year, Brewers won the NL Central against my beloved Cubbies, as much as I hate to say that, and they even were 1 game away from the World Series. So we can now kind of start, as spring training approaches, thinking about the NL Central and the whole breakdown that that has to come with it. What do you guys think? Who do you think's coming out of the NL Central?
Well, I mean, I got to go with the Brewers because from being from Wisconsin, I got to root for them, but I honestly don't know much about them, except that Christian Yelich.
Yelich, all right.
Yelich,
you really know, I guess.
Yeah. So he obviously is very good. I hear a lot about him on Twitter from these women. That's the only thing I hear about the Brewers is from girls on Twitter tweeting about him. So
I think it's a 2-horse race. It's either the Cubs or the Brewers.
Okay.
Obviously.
I'd like to hear that.
I want the Brewers.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they'll be able to replicate what they did this last season. But they did retain almost all of their players, and they signed Grandal, who is regarded as the best catcher in the Central.
Yeah, Yasmani Grandal, great hitting catcher.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it seemed like everybody improved in the NL Central, except the Pirates to some degree.
Yeah.
But, I mean, looking at it, the Cardinals added Paul Goldschmidt after adding Ozuna last year and bolstered their pitching staff quite a bit. I mean, then they have a return of Jordan Hicks, who just throws straight fire.
Yeah.
And then Reds added, I think they added the most, I would say, with adding Yasiel Puig, Matt Kemp, and Sonny Gray, who was a good starting pitcher, solid starting pitcher. And then the Crew, obviously adding Yasmani Grandal, which, like we said, it gives them a little more stability back behind the plate, too, now.
Yeah.
And, I mean, who knows? I mean, in moving forward, maybe they decide to go long-term with Grandal and whatnot. And then the Cubs, I guess, they didn't really make the splash in free agency like a lot of teams and maybe the fans thought they were going to.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at it, all the Cubs really did was they picked up Daniel Descalso, who was a good position player, and in the reality of things, they just kind of bolstered their, I would say, the back end of their bullpen with like guys that are just kind of average they'll fly under the radar, but they will provide, and they definitely will provide for this team altogether on the season, because they're going to. I think the Cubs are going to have a solid year, but I don't know if they're going to win the Central. I'm hopeful they will, but this year, I want to say the Cubs are going to go take it, and I'm going to have to roll with my Cubbies on this one, having a bounce-back year for that.
Go Brewers.
And with that, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we're going to transition into a promo for those beloved Perfect Pets.
For that free pack.
We got about. Welcome back to Hot Shot Sports. Right now, we're going to go transition into a segment we have called Three Tiers, Jeers, and Cheers, where we all get to pick something individually that we are cheerful about, maybe sad about, and something that we kind of like to make a mockery about. So we'll kick it off. I'm going to start off with let's just start off with the cheers. On my cheers, obviously, going to be Cubs beating the Brewers on last Saturday, 8-4. Bryant hit a home run, which is always great because he's my favorite player. Also, the person who's on the back of this jersey, mind you. Yeah, I get it. It's but it's the first of many wins the Cubs will have over the Brewers, in my opinion, because I do think the Cubs are going to win the NL Central.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see about that. It is only
All right.
spring training. I get it.
Yeah.
Pump the brakes a little bit, maybe.
I think so.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just something I'm happy to see about because the Cubs looks like, as a whole, they've been batting pretty well and they've been putting up some runs. I don't know. It's too early yet, but hey, it's some upside.
Yeah. My cheer would be the NBA offseason coming up. KD's in free agency, and Kyrie's going to be exploring teams. So is Kawhi Leonard and Kristaps. I think, could this be, Klay Thompson as well. That's another guy from the Warriors. Could this be the start to the NBA fixing its problems? Like, with all these players dispersing from the teams, I mean, you have the Knicks. They could get Zion. They could get KD. They want Kyrie too. Like, what does this mean for the NBA? Like, I am just ready for it.
I'm thinking Bucks. Don't sign Bledsoe. Maybe don't sign Middleton. They signed Kawhi Leonard and Kyrie Irving with Giannis.
Okay.
They built a dynasty, a young dynasty.
That would be nice.
All under 27 years old.
Even as a Bulls fan, I would hate to see it, but love
Yeah.
to see it because, like, when you put together three talents like that on
Yeah.
one team, on one roster, boy, that would be certainly pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they might have the money to do that, too, if they don't re-sign as many people. But
Yeah.
move on to my cheer. My cheer is that the Packers might actually have a chance to win this Super Bowl next year.
Holy smokes.
If they sign Earl Thomas or Landon Collins requesting a trade the other week, cut Clay Matthews, draft an edge rusher, lineman, wide receiver, middle linebacker.
That's all the things we need, and that's all the things we can do.
You know, that's not asking too much to have. So, I mean, that's...
They can be like a 6th round middle linebacker as long as we just get some sort of stability.
Yeah.
Blake Martinez can't do it by himself.
I'll say this. You could maybe get all of that, right?
Sure.
But you're not going to cut Clay Matthews.
We need to.
We might.
Get him out.
We might.
I don't see any shot of that happening.
What does he do for us?
He doesn't do
Nothing.
much.
He just walks.
He gets
around.
injured.
He can really use his head on those when he rushes the passer. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, dang. What do you have for your tier?
Yeah.
Well, let's just say, for my tier, it would be the Chicago Blackhawks if they do not make the playoffs, because I am a diehard Chicago Blackhawks fan, being from Chicago, like myself. But it's something that I know maybe hockey wasn't the biggest thing in Chicago before they started winning the Cups, but it was something that I grew up to, and seeing them struggle as of late has really been tough for me because I'm not used to it. I mean, the Chicago Blackhawks won 3 Cups in the span of 6 years, which for any sport, whether you look at it, it's pretty,
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
significant.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's almost, it's like the Patriots, when they go on many of their runs that they do.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That would be really sad if they miss the playoffs. They're kind of right now sitting on the edge or on the fringe of it, and I don't know. Things are looking a little wishy-washy right now. So that's all I have to say on that topic.
Yeah, speaking of that, missing playoffs, I have LeBron James as my new tier. It was originally Gordon Hayward because he got injured. He kind of sucks now. But I wanted to change my tier to LeBron James might not even make the playoffs. And what is that? Since 2005, he's been in the playoffs. Or 2006, he's been in the playoffs. And what kind of, like how does that affect him? Like, and I saw a tweet on Twitter of 4 pictures. It was Shaq and like 3 other legends that when they went to one team for their last year, they completely sucked. And that's kind of what LeBron's looking like right now.
I don't know if he so much is sucking, but it's just not gelling the way that they thought it would be in Los Angeles. And there is so much of a buzz with LA right now in the Lakers, because regardless of what you want to say with the Rams being, in the Super Bowl, the Lakers are the heart and soul of Los Angeles for sports, in my opinion. And when LeBron came there, I'm sure they were all like, yep, let's go NBA championship. It's going to happen. But I saw at the beginning of the season, I did say that they'd be lucky to be I said they'd be lucky to be a 6th seed in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I said that at the start of this season. Now it's looking like they may miss it as a whole.
They kind of missed out on the formula with LeBron. You get LeBron, you get 4 shooters, you win games.
Yeah.
That's been the formula ever since he came into the league. I don't understand how they got this wrong.
Yeah.
They're shooting under 70% from the free throw.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's just like, look at his body language too. He'll just sit there and mope around in the paint while someone dunks on him. Well, does a layup on.
There's definitely some things you look at. When you look back at the tape, obviously you can pick people apart, and he's under speculation more than most people. He's probably the only NBA player that gets as much heat as he does. But it's when you are, I guess, the talent like he is, and the supposed greatest of all time, even though I believe Michael Jordan is, that's gonna come with that. That's gonna be part of the whole LeBron James story. Whenever he goes somewhere, it's going to be the focus. ESPN is going to focus on that, as they are doing with Zion Williamson, and they're going to do the same thing they're doing with LeBron when Zion goes to the league. So that's just kind of how that's going to go.
Because like LeBron's always expected to be that guy.
Yep.
Like he's expected to be the centerpiece of a team, and when he's doing what he's doing, it's just kind of like, come on. Like,
I agree. My tier is for every other Western Conference basketball team other than the Warriors, because there's just no chance any other team is making it to the finals. The Warriors have 5 All-Stars. They should be All-Stars. Draymond Green, DeMarcus Cousins didn't make it because of various reasons. I'm thinking possibly the Thunder with Russell Westbrook. Paul George is playing like MVP. I mean, Giannis is going to be the MVP, but maybe Nuggets, probably not. They have good coaching, decent lineup, but it's just going to be no other team but the Warriors.
And that's why I'm so excited for the offseason, to kind of get rid of that.
Yeah, I think so.
It would definitely, if you see guys going more towards the East and going places that they haven't been before, that's going to be interesting, make for a great, exciting offseason. And the NBA offseason is one of the most exciting times of the year. So now let's quickly go through our jeers. I'm going to say happy trails to Cody Parkey, because I am more than relieved to see him go out of Chicago. Not just a double doink, he just was garbage all year long, and I literally was scared every kick he had. So for us to, now Robbie Gould obviously signed with the 49ers, but that's besides the point. So anybody but Parkey is better. So what about you?
I got Robert Kraft, used day spas for prostitution. And keep in mind, this man is 77 years old, so he is charged with 2 counts of soliciting prostitution.
Shouldn't be doing that.
You don't want to hear that. And my jeer is Ja Rule's Bucks versus Timberwolves halftime performance. I don't know if you guys saw that. Painfully awkward, painfully cringy. Him and the DJ were like off a little bit. And he kept just sitting there. He's like, "Run that tape, run," and he wouldn't run that tape.
And Ja Rule just can't seem to get it right.
No,
but
especially with the fire.
Things that we do get right here at WMCM are other shows, and we're going to take a look at some promos here. We'll be back in just a little bit.
University of Wisconsin Lacrosse brings you a weekly student newscast. Important news, movie critiques, weather forecasts, sports highlights, and local interviews. UWL's own WMCM, run by the students, for the students. Every Thursday at 4:30 on Campus Channel 200 and Charter Channel 989.
Are you a movie fanatic? Tune in on WMCM TV's Screening Room, Tuesdays at 2:45 or 4:30. You can watch on Channel 200 and Charter 989. See you on Tuesdays for Screening Room.
Welcome back to Hot Shot Sports. It is now time for a brand new segment called Hot Take Central, and this is where we're going to, throw something out that might be a little bit crazy. I'm going to start it off by saying the Blackhawks will make the playoffs. It's not just an 8 seed, a 7 seed. There are not many points that separate in between the 12 through 7 seeds. They're all really close, tightly packed together. But the Blackhawks sit, I believe, 1 game under 500 right now, 6-4 in the last 10. But they're 5 points out of that 8 seed. And I could see the 7 and 8 seeds because they're both the same right now. But I could definitely see them making a push. They have the talent. And Corey Crawford's coming back. So maybe that'll ignite a fire for the Blackhawks and they can go on another run. And they're right there. So look forward for the Blackhawks in June for the Stanley Cup.
All right, so my hot take is that the Packers should make an active attempt to sign Antonio Brown, and he would make a great addition to the team. Yep. So he's only making $11.5 million a year. When Cobb was on the team, he was making $13 million.
Oh wow.
So let's think about this.
Yeah.
You're saving money by signing Antonio Brown compared to Randall Cobb. And he's the best route runner in the game. I can say that undisputably. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't make sense. Why not to?
Yeah.
From a Bears perspective, too, that would be a nightmare. That would be a nightmare, folks. You're looking right at me. That'd be a nightmare. Antonio Brown and Aaron Rodgers are on the same team with Devontae Adams and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Well, there goes the NFC North.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who's on defense.
No, it doesn't. You cannot guard him and Devontae Adams at the same time. Those are 2 top 6 receivers in the league, I'd say, fantasy point-wise.
Yep. I definitely agree with you there.
Yeah. Well, my hot take, branches off Sam's a little bit here. So first of all, we'd get Antonio Brown. But then we get rid of Aaron Rodgers. Throw him in the bin. We don't need him anymore. We don't need you, Aaron. I heard nothing good from you. Nothing good. All I see you do is waddle off the field when you get sacked. And then, once we get rid of that man, we get Le'Veon Bell.
No.
And then, once we get Le'Veon Bell, we draft a quarterback. And there, give us 2 years, maybe Antonio Brown will be retired by then. But then we're back in the Super Bowl, baby.
I have a few questions. First of all, what quarterback are we going to draft?
Anyone that's available.
Anyone that's available. Yeah, that'll
Not
work
a good
out.
plan when you have. I think he's the greatest quarterback of all time.
I think so too.
He was the greatest quarterback of all time.
I think he is.
He's not.
He's got a bad supporting cast.
It was the team. Thank you.
If he was on the Patriots, he would win every Super Bowl.
He made Jordy Nelson look phenomenal. He made Devontae Adams look phenomenal.
Tom Brady, system quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, greatest generational talent at the quarterback position.
Thank you.
I'll say it as a Bears fan.
Thank you. And also Le'Veon Bell. He wants $20 million a year.
We'll give him $20 million.
No, we won't. We have Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones is all right. Aaron Jones can get it done.
I like him. He runs kind of like him. Maybe a little bit worse.
You guys are haters. You guys are.
I will hate on that take because it might be the worst one I've ever heard.
No, that's good. That is good.
Absolutely.
That is good. People who are watching that, show me some support, please. Show me some support.
Show him some support, folks, because you know what? I think what might happen though, you might get an outpouring of hate because that's not going to go over well in Wisconsin because Aaron Rodgers is the beloved baby to Wisconsin, I would say.
That's a blasphemous statement.
Big baby though. Emphasis on baby.
Oh, okay. Big emphasis on baby.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, let's take another angle here. Let's just say if they did get rid of Rodgers, think of the uproar that would happen there because you get rid of Aaron Rodgers.
Well, also
on top
we're
of
in
Clay
the
Matthews.
Oh, Clay Matthews, I think he's not a fan favorite anymore.
Yeah.
He's not. Aaron Rodgers, people understand, like, last year the team kind of...
They were not that good.
They weren't that good fundamentally, had a lot of injuries on the defensive end, which puts pressure on the offense to produce.
Wilkerson was big, yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I can't look at it any other way. I think you need to keep Rodgers.
You might not be able to look at the fact. I can't even look at Brady.
Come on.
I mean...
That's an awful take.
Well, Aaron, it doesn't matter. Aaron Rodgers is going to be on the team next year. And we're going to wrap it up here. So thank you guys for watching Hot Shot Sports. We'll be back next week.